Good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this edition, Bank of Ghana bars more than 200 businesses from accessing new credit facilities from the banking system for 3 years over issuance of Dud Cheques. We shall be telling you who these businesses are, plus get to hear from the Bank of Ghana. Also in this bulletin, more than 40 professional bodies, including Chartered Institute of Bankers and Ghana Bar Association, risk being removed from the Registrar of Companies books over failure to file annual returns. We are live with the Registrar of Companies for more. Plus, in this bulletin as well, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research entreats the government to implement policies targeted at increasing the production of commodities that are driving inflation in the country.
Government should then target its policies at expanding production of some of these key staples that are driving inflation. Basically, some credits, targeted credit policies.
We have details of these and more lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for choosing us. I am Pius Kojo Baka, and to that big story we are learning this very moment, the Bank of Ghana has barred 245 businesses and 47 individuals from accessing new credit facilities from institutions. Now, it has also restricted these individuals and firms from issuing checks in Ghana for the next 3 years. And my colleague Winston Taki has been going through the notice released by the Bank of Ghana and joins me in studio for some quick analysis on that. Thanks so much, Winston. First off, give us a background to all of these.
So somewhere in 2021 March, the central bank issued a statement advising deposit institutions that there's been prevalent cases of a lot of complaint which has to do with individuals and businesses issuing Dud checks. And these are checks that companies receive but don't have corresponding funds in the account. And there are several cases of that happening over the years. So the central bank issued a 3-year moratorium to monitor activities of individuals and businesses, and it appeared this is the 3rd year.
All right, so do we know when this sanction will take effect?
The sanction began on the 28th of June this year. So it appears from now to the next 3 years, these 245 entities may not have access to any facility within the banking system.
Yes, indeed, we'll be speaking to the Bank of Ghana for more on that. But do we know the sanctions applied to these individuals and, of course, firms?
So these individuals have been told not to engage or issue any check within the next 3 years. Any activity related to check issuance. Nonetheless, they can receive checks into their account, they can receive digital transfers, but they cannot issue any check. And they will also be instructed within the next 5 days to return any checkbook. And after 10 days, if those checkbooks are not returned, they are likely to face the law.
All right. I'm sure we have the head of banking, financial stability at the Bank of Ghana for some quick analysis on that. Thanks so much, Dr. Quasi for joining me on Business Live. First off, I want to understand what went into this action before, because some will say it is quite harsh.
Thank you very much for having me. Can you please hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Great. And good afternoon or good evening to your listeners for this opportunity. Actually, if you would agree with me, the confidence and trust that people have in accepting check as payment to be very, very low. And we've gotten to the point where Bank of Ghana obviously has to act. If I can recall, in fact, what Weston just said right now is absolutely correct. And I want to just reiterate a few points. You know, it stemmed from the earlier notice that we issued. And under the Criminal Offence Act, 1960, Act 29, the issuance of that check is supposed to be a punishable offense. And anyone who issue a check, a Dud check, is if, you know, a fine or up to 5 years in prison. But at this stage, we are banning them, like he said, for issuing check for 3 years. And within that period, such a person or entity will not be able to access credit facility.
All right, so have all the affected persons and businesses been notified by your outfit?
Yes, we've notified the banks and we've asked them to notify their customers. So as we speak, it is a fair assumption to say that all these individuals and entities have been notified. And in fact, some of them have reached out to us offering all manner of explanation as to why it happened. So they've been notified.
All right, so would you go ahead to publish the names of these persons and institutions on your website, for instance, for the sake of individuals and businesses who may have transacted business with them before you releasing coming up with this statement?
We think at this stage it's confidential information. We want to respect the privacy of these individuals and entities concerned. So we've indicated these individuals and entities to the banks for them to inform them.
And what measures have you put in place to ensure that, well, it is actually enforced by all players, because you are saying that they cannot take fresh facilities from the banking system?
We're doing our usual on-site and off-site supervisory activities, and we're monitoring it. Mind you, this is not a one-off thing. It's supposed to be done periodically. For the next 3 months, we'll come out with the next set of entities, if there are any, and we'll publish those as well.
Now, going through your statement, is the Bank of Ghana saying that this action is different from any legal proceedings that may be taken against the offenders under the Ghana's criminal code?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So your statement again talks about monitoring the space and, of course, promoting some integrity in the system. Should it mean that we should expect more tougher measures from your department going forward?
You'd agree with me. If you go to some jurisdiction, you can walk into a store or a departmental store or grocery shop and buy items and issue a check as payment. But in our case, people wouldn't normally accept it, except they wait for it to clear before they will allow you to take the goods out. So we're monitoring it. The ultimate objective is to restore that confidence and trust in check as a payment instrument.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Quasi Osei-Yeboah. He is the Director of Financial Stability Department at the Bank of Ghana, and basically explaining to us the latest move they've taken in terms of, persons and businesses issuing checks. That checks, they say, we shall keep our eyes on that and keep you posted in our subsequent bulletins. We want to stay a while longer at the central bank because the head of FDI at the central bank, Alex Kumsin, is cautioning businesses and savings and loan institutions against granting larger loan facilities to corporate bodies with discounted conditions. According to him, this activity is leading many institutions into solvency and liquidity challenges. Speaking at the brand launch of the savings and loans company, Infinity, he warned institutions against shifting from their core mandate, which is providing individuals and SMEs with funds. More in this report.
Company Affinity Ghana has pledged to contribute immensely towards financial inclusion in the country. The company aims to do this by developing quality and needed financial products and services for individuals and micro, small and medium enterprises. At a ceremony to launch the Affinity brand, Head of Foreign Direct Investments at the Bank of Ghana, Alex Kumsin, cautioned the company to stick to its core mandate of providing financial solutions to SMEs to grow their businesses.
We have identified that we have a weak corporate governance practices, excess risk-taking without adequate risk management practices, and then related party exposures, transactions, where loans are given to either board members, management staff, or management relatives, or board members, connected parties. These are some of the things that have bedeviled the industry and has caused a great harm to the sector. Because when these practices are done, there's no proper assessment before the loans are granted. The sector is gradually drifting from its original financial inclusion mission of providing financial services to the micro, small, and medium sector. Savings and loan companies are now venturing into corporate space, including discounting of interim payment certificates. These are areas that we are not expecting this sector to be involved in, but to be giving loans to the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector.
Chief Executive of Affinity, Abdul Hussein, said the company will ensure good corporate governance systems are in place to guide operations and protect the interest of clients.
We really pride ourselves by having a very, very strong board, very strong corporate governance, which are internationally certified corporate governance practices that we do. And we do have regular checks from the Bank of Ghana, but also our internal audit is very strong. And I think our general commitment to ensuring that we are financially including a lot of people. Some of the things he mentioned was around, doing transactions that are highly risky, transactions that are beyond people's mandate. Our board would not allow us to do that. The structures we have put in place, from the management level to the audit level to the board level, will simply not allow us to do such things.
Affinity Ghana, which was founded in 2022, aims to provide customers with affordable and flexible financial products.
And we want to touch on one of our headline stories where more than 40 professional bodies in the country risk being removed from the books of the Registrar of Companies. This was after they failed to meet the June 30th deadline for filing of their annual returns and update of certificates of membership. George Yafe tells us more.
Now, some of the notable bodies that are not in good standing ending July are the Chartered Institute of Bankers, the Ghana Bar Association, and the Chartered Institute of Certified Tax Accountants and Auditors. The rest are the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. The Register of Companies in official updates noted that it was 4 days after these bodies failed to regularize their status per the agreed deadline. The registrar notice in May 2024 directed all the professional bodies to file their annual returns and update their certificate of membership by June 30, 2024. However, validation of the register at the end of the deadline showed that most of these professional bodies are still not in good standing, putting the bodies at risk of being struck off their books. When these firms are removed from the official records, they cannot do any business in the country under the said registered names.
All right, so joining me now is the Registrar of Companies, Jemima Owari. Thanks so much, Madam Owari, for joining me on Business Live. I could count the number of times we've had to have this conversation about filing of annual returns. But when you say that these professional bodies are not in good standing, what exactly do you mean?
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Well, what it means is that the professional bodies are normally registered under the Professional Bodies Registration Act, 1973, NRCD 143. And that is what gives legality to you to be a member of that professional body. So when I say you are not in good standing, what that means is that you are not in compliance with that particular act. So the body, that's a professional body, is supposed to be filing with us at the end of each year, that is January 31st. They're supposed to be filing with us their annual returns or financial statements. They're supposed to give us an updated constitution. It's possible that things have changed. They're supposed to give us an up-to-date list of their members, who should be 50 and above, or any other changes that have occurred during the year. And each of those members, after they renew the professional body itself, the members also have to be renewed. Each member needs to be paid a fee to the registrar. The Fees and Charges Act has now set it at 25 Ghana cedis for each professional. So when I say if you are not in good standing, what that means is that your body has not, first of all, renewed to become, compliant with the NRCD Act, and then the member itself is also not in compliance. If the body is not there, the member is also not able to operate business as a professional under that body. That's what it means.
I see. Interesting to see associations like the Ghana Bar Association, of course, the Institute of Bankers as well. But what will be the consequence on anyone who transacts business with them?
What it means is that you'll be on your own. You cannot transact business under the Ghana Bar Association. We are professionals by the fact that we've been called to the bar. But we are all members of the association. I am also a member of the Ghana Bar Association. But that doesn't mean that the right thing should not be done. And so we would advise that to make us comfortable in operating as professionals under the GBA or under the Chartered Institute of Bankers, or any of the professional bodies I've mentioned, and even the Ghana Journalists Association, all of you are part of it. We have to make sure, yes, we have to make sure that the professional body itself is in compliance with the Act. And then each of you members also have been registered and renewed and in good standing. So it's all of us. And mind you, I'm not canceling anybody yet. I'm just informing you of the need to update before the end of the year. But the end of the year is just sort of an indication. But the real date is 31st of January, 2025.
All right, Madam Owari, what are the timelines here for them to take the necessary corrective measures? And when will they be taken off your books if they comply?
I cannot even take you off the books until I give you at least 1 month's notice. So for now, I'm asking them to comply by the 31st of December, going at most into 31st of January 2025. After 31st of January 2025, I would have to serve a notice on them, at least 1 month's notice before the names are taken off. And if it's taken off, you cannot practice under that name. If the whole body is off, then the member is also off.
And how do you see to it?
Yeah, so we'll put it out there so everybody will know that you risk doing business with this professional who is not recognized on our books.
Thank you so much, Madam Jemima Owari, Registrar of Companies, speaking to us there. We appreciate your time. You're still watching Business Live. We are back with more. Please stay. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Good to see you. Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quasi, is entreating government to implement policies targeted at increasing the production of commodities that are driving inflation in the country. According to him, these efforts must complement the Bank of Ghana's effort at stabilizing the cedi. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
With inflation, if we're able to, we know the commodities. The good thing is that Statistical Service churns out its inflation report, and points towards the commodities that are driving the high rate of inflation. So government should then target its policies at expanding production of some of these key staples that are driving inflation. Basically, some targeted credit policies, credit guarantee like GESAL is doing for agriculture, and also encouraging some to process and store some of our agricultural products. Because when we have bumper harvest, unfortunately, we don't process, we don't store, and during the lean season, then we find prices escalating. So, and we have tended to rely on imports, sometimes from neighboring countries. So I think our policies have to be very targeted. Our Planting for Food and Jobs program is a good policy, but we need to see more from its implementation to minimize food shortages and food price increases. You cannot use monetary policy tools alone to fight inflation. So we see Bank of Ghana often now and then adjusting the policy rate and also reserve requirement. I mean, basically using its monetary policy tools to fight inflation. The Bank of Ghana does that, and yet the fiscal authorities are spending, running huge deficits, then they are counterintuitive. And I think the two of them have to speak the same language in order to ensure price stability.
In some other news, the Chamber of Independent Power Generators is urging the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, to, as a matter of priority, expedite the disbursement of funds from the International Monetary Fund to independent power producers. In a statement signed by its Chief Executive, Eliplima Petogbo, it said, despite the announcement of the IMF cash released over a month ago, there has not been any commitment or action taken towards disbursing these funds to the IPPs. More in this report.
According to the chamber, the delay has significantly hindered the conclusion of the already prolonged renegotiations with the IPPs regarding the settlement of legacy arrears. The IPPs claim the government owes its members about $2 billion. As such, it is imperative to resolve these financial obligations promptly to ensure a stable and reliable power supply. It added that the continuity and stability of power supply depend on this crucial step. It concluded that the timely disbursement of funds is crucial to maintaining the trust and cooperation of the IPPs. Therefore, it wants the Minister of Finance to take immediate action to honor the debt and facilitate the conclusion of negotiations with the IPPs.
In a bid to increase the production capacity of women farmers in Ghana, the German Development Corporation, GIZ, has distributed 2.1 metric tons of certified seeds to women cooperatives in the Northeast and Upper East regions. The support, aimed at empowering women in the seed oil crop value chain, is part of a larger project implemented in collaboration with Heights Enterprise Limited, an agro-processing firm based in Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. Correspondent Albert Sori reports.
According to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, women produce around 70% of Ghana's food crops. However, despite their significant contribution, women farmers face numerous challenges, including limited access to modern farm machinery, equipment, and high-quality certified seeds. The German Development Corporation and Heights Enterprise Limited, through the Invest for Jobs initiative, are therefore providing comprehensive support to women cooperatives. This includes certified seeds to improve productivity and income, capacity building in processing, machinery and personal protective equipment, formalization of cooperatives through official registration, and the introduction of health and pension schemes. Chief Executive Officer of Heights Enterprise Limited, Matthew Akayeti, highlights the challenges they have encountered working with women farmers in the seed oil crop value chain over the last 5 years.
We started Heights Enterprise as an agro-processing firm in 2019 in the onset of COVID to see how we can impact the lives of rural women through farming by contributing to raise money for seeds for them, to train them further on organic farming practices. On a daily basis, we have more women coming to our offices to ask for support in terms of seed, tractor services, and then some trainings. GIZ have supported us with a 500-liter edible oil refinery equipment. That means that we can now do more. Aside that, they give us filling, capping, and labeling machines. So what these women farmers are going to produce at the end of the day will be processed in our facility here to meet international standards.
And that's all we have for you by way of Business Life. I am Pius Kojo Baka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. There you go on that portal. BoG sanctions 47 individuals, 245 business entities for issuing Dud checks. And more stories on that portal. We brought you that story here on Business Live. Do visit the portal and get it.